Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
World.
Hi, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
Sorry.
the social webs of.
Sorry, Instagram.
It wants to tag me. That's fine. You should tag me.
Well, I can't multitask, okay?
Oh, I got you, girl.
I can't multitask very well, guys.
Hi, everyone.
I just feel like I can't. We're going to have to be really close together.
We can go down higher.
But what?
Oh.
We're going to have to be, hi.
Let's just talk like this. To use my breath.
We have a plan today. Focus. Hi, welcome. We are Energized.
Chaos. And I just realized I wrote
Motherhood.
Organized.
We are not chaos, Kim. That's why I looked at her like.
And I wrote that on something.
We'll try this again. We haven't had our coffee yet. Ready? Energized.
Motherhood.
There we go.
That is us.
We are chaos right now.
We are a little bit chaotic. Actually, let's be real. We're always a little bit chaotic. But
I'm moving Instagram.
we are talking today about not being chaotic.
Yes.
Because we've learned through life that the less we are chaotic, we've learned kind of the secret to
Be functional.
being functional before the chaos hits. And happy. Happy is a big one.
Happy. We're going to share.
So we're going to share a little bit. Andrew's going to go get us our coffee because once it's ready.
I would highly recommend if you have paper by you or something to take notes, we would love for you to take notes so that if you have any questions afterwards, you can, because we're going to kind of just share a lot with you. So this is a great time to just jot down what we say because it's going to be like a lot at once. But we would love to hear your feedback or questions afterwards because that's why we're here, is to help.
Yes.
So she'll start us off and I'm going to go get the coffee.
So a little bit about if you are first, or if this is your first time coming into our watching us. Who are we? What are we? I'm a mom of 4. Andrew is a mom of 2. We both were full-time workers, and now we balance motherhood and still our side hustles, so to speak. But the truth is, our schedules were running us dry, and we had to learn very quickly. I see what you're saying. Let me fix it. There you go. No, but we're going to fix that. There we go. So we had to learn quite quickly how to ensure that we could stay ahead of our lives and our kids and still run a home and still take care of ourselves and still do all the things that we know we have to do. But we kind of had to do some sacrificing to start to really get us going. So a little bit about me. Before I had my daughter, I was one of those people, and I shouldn't say one of those people because you're probably one of those people. Maybe you aren't, but I was for a long time where if I had to set the alarm any earlier than 7 a.m., I had like major anxiety, like to the point of I wouldn't sleep the night before. But then that night, if I had to wake up before 7 a.m., I would be so anxious all night long because I had to wake up, and it was terrible. It was terrible because then I would get the worst sleep, and now I'm up, oh my gosh, heaven forbid, way earlier than whatever, some word or some time that I had made up in my head. So as a restaurant manager, which is something I was in my past life, I remember when they wanted me to move to mornings, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I can't. The restaurant opens at like 5 a.m., which now I just laugh at 5 a.m. But so for me, it was a really big, like, I'm going to have to make some changes. And once I had Avery, and to be honest, she was one of those little girls that you would feed at like 7 and we would all go back to sleep till 10. So I didn't really have to learn much with her. And then I didn't go back to work until about 6 months. So I just I rolled into it. But then I started adding children to the equation. And then I started adding a business to the equation. And I literally was like, I need more hours in the day. Like this day is rocky. I am getting run by my kids. They're dictating my life. And so it was going to take some sacrifice. It was going to take some training. And I slowly, well, the funny thing is I would try to fit in going to the gym after work. And I remember leaving my kids in daycare and then pushing that. Like, I remember being in the gym, like, if I don't leave right now, I'm not getting home till 6 p.m. because the traffic will be so bad. And I'm like, I have to get out of here because Carter will scream the entire way home. I remember being so stressed out about leaving my kids in daycare for extra long just so I could get to the gym. And I was burnt out and something had to give. So that's kind of my little prereq. If you want to share your little prereq, and then we'll talk about how we
so
fixed
different. I'm a product of my mother. My mom is a very scheduled person. And so she had my sister and I very routine, to the point where it carried on into my adulthood. So even in college, I am an early riser. I am up and going. I am not a night person. So I go to bed early and I rise early. But I wasn't, the whole self-care part was not in my routine. Like, I would have early classes in college because that was just my jam. I had no problem going to work early. When I was teaching, I was the first teacher there with the custodian. And so that was just how I operated. I'm that girl since I was a child who made her bed before she left her room, and had her clothes on. And that was just a product of me. I have another sibling, a girl, Ashley, and we are total opposites. And so just because my mom did it with me, it didn't mean it worked with my sister. We are so polar opposite. My strengths are not her strengths. My weaknesses are her strengths. She is super crafty and can whip up something like my mom can. I get burned doing it. But she always laughs at me because I have lists for lists for lists, and I'm up early and she's just like barely getting out of bed. And that's just, we're just two different kids. So even though my mom did one way, both of us didn't turn out that way. But she just, her theory was always like her kids were not going to dictate her schedule. She was going to set the schedule. And so I remember when I had my firstborn, who's a boy, Costin, that was like the first thing she told me was like, he cannot dictate your schedule. You dictate his. You set the standard for him and lead. You get dressed. When you get up and rise, you get dressed. I remember even at the beginning, like the first 2 weeks when you're not, like the first month, let's be first 6 months, you're not sleeping. And she would come over because she knew this was my stride. She would come over and hold Costin and get him fed so that I could go get dressed because she knew that fed my soul. And now when I look back at it, she was training me once again as an adult. And it just has screwed over. And so, and then as I've had kids, then I had a girl, and she really tried to dictate my schedule. Oh, Tenley. She really tried. And she had me for a good 6 months. And then I was like, no, you're not winning, child. And then I started to dictate her life. And now we have a very strict schedule. We live by it. We are home by a certain time. They will, like this Saturday is a great example. Our kids were not meshing well on Saturday. And mine were, it was coaching 7 o'clock. We go to bed at 7. My kids are 6:30 to 7 routine. And I looked at Kim and I was like, we're going to go. Like,
at that point, someone was already gone to bed at my house.
Yeah. So, and Chris, on our drive home, he's like, I love that about us, that we aren't afraid to say, it's time for us to go. Like, because we live, and some people didn't agree with my scheduling. Like, wow, you live off of their schedule. Oh, you live about it. I know. But it's helped me thrive over the years. It's really helped me do all the jobs I had to do, especially with being in ministry. I was in ministry for 7 years. That's basically Tenley's whole and life. My son's whole life. Yeah. And I had events and all that. And so we had to be on a schedule because I had places to be. Mom had places to be. And they had to be able to roll with it. So yeah.
I think the hard part, I think you nailed it when you said, you want this like freedom, like I'm this mom and we just get up and we go. But then, by like 8 a.m. you're run down and you're like, we've been up since 5 and I'm already defeated. I've had 2 cups of cold coffee and I just don't feel like I'm winning the day. And you kind of have to decide, which is where, what I had to do was yeah, you might have to sacrifice a little bit of sleep initially, but in the long run, what you're doing in that schedule of time, in scheduling your children and scheduling yourself, is you're giving yourself more life and you're giving yourself more energy to then take that and pour back into your kids.
Sure.
So, I think we are so afraid. I know I was so afraid of being tired and, oh gosh, if I wake up now, I'm going to be like a zombie by 2 p.m. But the truth is I'm getting up and I'm drinking water and I'm eating the right food and I'm filling myself with the Lord and I'm, working out and I'm getting all these natural endorphins that are so good for my body that I begin to crave that morning time. And that's what you want. And you're going to have to practice. Like my kids,
practice what you preach.
Yeah, we live by the okay to wake clocks. It only works for the 2 older ones. Hudson is not adhering to any clock.
Well, he's two,
because I'm really quick at it yet. But in our what we say to them isn't like we just don't want to see you. It's, guys, we are protective of your sleep because we know how important it is for your growth. We know how important it is so that you can go play. We know how it will make you a better, happier in school and happier in here and blah, 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 blah. But if you do want to get up, here are like 5 things that you could do. Here's your Bible that you can start reading. Here's some water. Here's, you could get your own breakfast. You begin to train them, make your bed, put your clothes on, do the things that are only going to train you up as, like we talked about, I think in week 1, marriageable people. Because I will tell you, and it's funny because my husband, he's pretty good. I mean, we're human beings. We have to wake up. He has to go to work, right? Yep. It's not like he has a choice to just lay in bed. But he would much rather sleep. He would much rather lay in that bed and let the kids just roam the house. And, I know we're both pretty strict about no kids in our bed.
Yep.
That's
best thing my mom ever told me.
We just don't, because a lot of people say, well, how do you wake up when you have kids in your bed? I'm like, well, I just don't have kids in my bed.
You have to decide early on if that's the choice you want. And like that was a decision between, I feel like, you and James and me and my spouse. Like I remember sitting down and just being like, hey, do we want Costin to sleep with us or do we really want to make sure he goes to a crib? And my husband's like, he is in the crib. This is our sacred time. But I think it just depends. It really depends on who you are as a person, like what you want.
However, Energized Motherhood is about giving you tips and tools that we have learned and implemented in our lives. And we really do believe that it is helping our families thrive and creating routines that are going to be good for our kids in the future. Yeah. And so
you're creating healthy boundaries. Because mine are older than yours. Yes. My oldest is turning 8 next month. Oh, just like hurts my heart right there. He's my boy.
My oldest is turning 6. Oh, we're getting there.
Yeah. And then my youngest is turning 6 in September. So they're getting at that age where, like, I gotta lock my door, if you know what I mean. Never had that problem. But Chris and I were joking that, like, we were so glad we set this boundary because we won't really have to worry about things like that because they understand that that's mom and dad's space. Like, we told them that's like my mom always told me, like, and she would tell my kids when they sleep over too, like, this is your place. Like, this is your safe place. This is your place that Grandma made for you to feel safe. And she would always say that for their room. Yeah. Like, this is your space. And so I use that same language with my bedroom. Like, I'm like, this is Dad and I's space. Like, this is our bed. Like, that's your bed. Yeah. And trust me, my son tries every chance he can to come cuddle with Mama. But we have been sending him back. You gotta go back. You gotta go back.
I'll tell you one story about the one time that my daughter tried to climb into bed. You guys are gonna think I'm like a really mean mom. I had just had Hudson, and James, like I said, he would gladly accept all the children into his bed. And but he also is very thankful that we've set these boundaries. But anyway, I remember it clear as day. I heard the door open, and here comes the pitter patter. And I feel James, like, I'm like dead out, but I feel James like just go like this, like come up, climb in. He was like sleeping with the poltergeist. Like, you shut up. No. And he like says it, but I said it in this horrible voice. No, there are no children in our bed. And he just like freezes. And she's like, she turns around and slowly starts. And you know what it took? James obviously went with her and they climbed into her bed. And that has been a big thing for us is it's not so much
we go lay with them in their bed.
lay with them in their bed. It's not like she's had a bad dream. We're just going to leave her hanging. No, not at all.
You go lay with them.
We go to their space. And we went through that with teething. When Avery was teething, I had just had a new baby because they're only 15 months apart. And we used to keep this foamy next to the crib, and James would roll up the foamy and lay down his blanket because I had just had a baby. It wasn't like I was just sending my husband. Unfortunately, I'm always having babies, so he's unfortunately always the guy that has to go. But he would go and he would just lay on her floor, and she was comforted. She felt like she would go back to sleep.
And he went back.
And he went back. And so our job, is just to help create routine, create, a safe place. And routine helps them feel safe. Yeah. I know that seems kind of weird, but if they always know.
And when you're off the routine, it shows.
It does. And unless you prep them well.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not like we can't ever do anything because we've created these like routine kids.
And I'll tell you, like, pick a time that you want to get up. Like, and base your schedule around that. So like Kim's a 4 a.m. I'm not there yet. I used to be when I was working. Now I'm a 5 a.m. Because when I was working, I had to be out my door at 7 o'clock, guys, and on the road. My job was 45 minutes away. So I had to go. So my husband did drop off, and I did pick up. So I had to get all my stuff in the morning. My Devo time, my workout time, my journal time, everything. I prepped lunches the night before.
Yep.
But that was the expectation that Chris and I set was like, it's so funny because my husband was never a scheduled person, and now he is.
They don't.
But they married.
They tried.
They do. And so I just said, this is our schedule. He was never a morning person. He's now getting up. He gets up at 5:30 to go do his thing. Yeah. And so we both have our self-care that we go do. And then we prep lunches. Like last night, I was prepping lunches last night so that it's one less thing. I'm always, and that was one thing that you taught me was like, try to check things off your list that can be done the night before. That you don't have to do the day before. But the one thing that I have had when I was in the church, I was a children's pastor. I'd have parents come to me all the time, help me and my kid on a sleeping schedule and all that. And I would always say, when do you want to get up? Because that decides everything. If you don't mind your kid coming in with you, then we need to go off of that. But here's my point of view. I don't. So I would like to be up before my kid gets up. So I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. My goal is to get Costin to 7 a.m. Like, I would love for him to sleep until 7 a.m. And I have to try. Let me tell you, it was not beautiful at the beginning. He would wake up at 5:30. He would wake up at 6:30. But we eventually got him to a 7 to 7 schedule. Mm-hmm. And as he's gotten older, remember, he's turning 8. He's now my 6 to 7. He still climbs in bed at like 6:45. That kid is yawning. Last night he didn't get home till baseball till 7:30, and he was dying.
He was ready
because he's like, I'm 30 minutes past my bedtime. Like, to him it was like his body is so routine. But the comment that I was going to make off of Kim was like, it shouldn't affect when you go off routine. I will tell you this thing: when you do pick a routine and you're following a feeding schedule, I did Baby Wise, so I followed that to the T with Costin. When it was time when he turned 2 and 3 and we'd have parties and all that, things did go off the rail because it was new for him. He didn't understand, this is not, my body's wired to do this 7 to 7 routine, and now we're going to a party, that's my nap time, what's going on? But Chris and I would stay as long as we could, and then we would go. Yeah. We never tried to push him too far because then there's no recovery for that kid.
And unfortunately, the next day is going to be the sufferer.
Yeah, you will suffer. And so, and even now, as they're getting older, we still know that. Like, we had Padre tickets last night, and the game started at 7:10. And Chris and I were really debating, do we take them? Because we've got school today. And we chose not to go because we just knew we were going to set ourselves up for a bad Wednesday. Wednesday.
Could leak into Thursday.
Yeah.
And then leak into Friday.
So we pick our battles. But we really sat down. I literally have it written out. My mom could contest to that I literally have a schedule written out. When they visit my parents and my in-laws every summer, and I send them with a schedule. I am that person.
She's that mom.
I am that mom.
I don't send my kids anywhere because there's too many of them and no one accepts them.
Because if I'm going to send them somewhere, they go away for 2 weeks. I know. It's like, woo! I want them to come back the way that I sent them because it totally disrupts my world, especially when I was working. Now that I'm not and I have my business at home, I can adjust, but it still affects me.
Sure.
And so when I send them with a schedule. I tell them when they eat. I tell them when they go to bed. I tell them when they wake up. We don't do naps anymore. But even when naps were happening, I wrote down telling them when nap time should happen and really had that tough conversation and said, I really need you guys to follow this because it makes my life easier. Right. Even down to the bedroom routine. Like, we turn the music on, then we turn the fan on, and then we say prayers, and then we kiss, and then we tuck. Because it needs to be successful for everybody.
Well, and you're only setting up other people for success.
I want to set them up for success.
Yeah.
So I think our challenge for you today is to look at what time you want to get up.
Well, really, not even what time do you want to get up. Are you satisfied with the way your day flows? Or are you frazzled by 8 a.m.? If you are loving your routine, then this isn't for you. If you feel like you are being run by your kids, or the constant fight is, well, we should feel bad because they're tired, because they were up so late. How many times have I gotten, James, be kind. He's just so tired because he was up too late last night. I hate that. I'm like, why am I giving you an excuse? It was our job to put you to bed. But at the same time, you decide. You look at your life, look at your day, look at your week, look at your month. Are you loving it, or are you tired and worn out
and you're not thriving?
If you are great,
keep doing it.
Keep rock what you got, and keep snuggling those miracles that are sleeping next to you, and love every minute of what you've got going. But if you aren't, and you feel that tension, then we challenge you, look at your schedule. And if you need help, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. I'll tell you, yesterday, I got up late because I stayed up late to watch Game of Thrones. Don't judge me. And sorry, being honest. And it threw everything off. I texted her and I was like, my whole day screwed up. I was texting my husband. I was a basket case, an absolute basket case. Nothing went to plan. My husband needed my help. Sorry, I said, can't come. My to-do list, and I got children to pick up, and I was grouchy. I'll be honest, I yelled at my kids on the way to school, and my heart broke. Like, I remember.
You're like, this is my fault.
This is me so my fault.
I just needed to wake up, and
because I didn't wake up in time, and my temper was so short with them. And I remember, like, I was walking away. Luckily, I know the school really well because I also worked there. And I went back and then asked the teacher if I could talk to both my kids separately. And so I remember just going down like, I'm so sorry for my attitude. Mommy didn't get up on time, and that's Mommy's fault, not your fault. You did nothing wrong. Because there's something about apologizing when you're wrong. And you're good at that. She owns it. When she's wrong, she apologizes to her kids.
I wish that my husband just heard you say it. He thinks I never say sorry.
Dang, she does apologize.
He would never watch my life. Oh, okay. What's he going to do then?
Chris doesn't watch our life either. But apologize in those moments because
it's the most humblest thing you will ever do.
And your kids.
This will be another subject for a different day, but learning to actually fight with your spouse in front of your kids is actually a good thing. Maybe not fight. I want to say fight, but that'll be another subject. But learning how to just own your crap, own your day, and I would just say to this, you can't try something for a little bit of time. You
try it for a while.
You've got to give it more than 21 days.
Yeah. Someone told me to try it for 6 weeks.
I could see that.
You can't really see a change in your kids' routine if you don't stick out for something for 6 weeks. Like we're trying to break Carlson's son's thumb sucking. I know he's 8. And they really said past 6 weeks.
I could see that.
Yeah. And so to really see a difference in a kid and yourself. So give yourself patience.
Yeah.
It's not going to be all perfect. Our day is never perfect.
No.
Maybe I'll start showing you when it's not perfect so that you see when I don't wake up.
But you know what? When my 2-year-old is laying on the ground screaming, and I can just be like, oh, it's okay. It's fine. Just very Poppins-y. I am like, owning it. Yes. because I don't sleep at night and I get up early, but it's fine.
Trust me, she's probably thinking something else.
I'm
instead of
thinking
Mary
something
popping.
But I wouldn't have the patience. I wouldn't have the energy to deal. I can legitimately say I would not have the energy to deal with my own life if I didn't take care of myself first. And that might sound terrible, but that is the truth of the matter. And I just,
my mom's comments really making me laugh. You see it? Or make them full reads. Yeah, they would in 100-degree weather, people. But I'm a great gardener.
But for real, just assess your life and figure out how you want to make it better. And
message us if you need help.
Literally,
we would not mind. We both love schedules, if you can't tell. We could talk about this for an hour, people.
Which we're way past our 10 minutes.
10 minutes? No, 19. 20. We said
okay.
5 minutes past. Sorry. But no, seriously, you can message either one of us. We have calendars that we follow. We literally have both written out our schedule that our kids follow into. And we would totally share that with you. And even some self-care things that we do, books that we're reading.
Yep.
We're both big on personal development.
I will say that even like my husband has
I'll get one. There's someone that was like, I need this.
Okay. My husband even has, this is silly, but he even has a to-do list that he has to do before he leaves for work in the morning. And that might sound really like you put your husband on a to-do list. He wants the to-do list because he wants to help me set up for success. See, when you're on the same page about all these things, I feel like your husband's going to join in because he's like, I just want to make your life easier. So what does that look like? People always complain about the dishes. I can't tell you that I put a dish away in my house I can't even tell you how, that's just not my job. It's just like gas. I haven't put gas in my car in probably 6 years that I've been
not allowed to load the dishwasher.
No, not allowed to load or unload. And we've come up with a system that makes that work. So
the point is you came up with that. You guys sat down.
Yes, we sat down. So we say all this to say,
that's a group text.
Hey, sorry, squirrel.
But what I was going to say, with the morning stuff, like if you're looking for something to just build you up as you're figuring this out, when I was in my time, I was thinking about this.
We will message you. Oh, did you ask the question? Sorry, keep
going. Was if you ever need like a grateful journal or a prayerful journal, this is a great one. It's for 30 days where you can write like what you're thankful for and all that. This is the study that I'm doing right now. But this one's called I Do Hard Things. It's really good. Especially if you're coming out of like a hard season. Avocado is my favorite. Just saw this and got this one. It's for personal development, Mama, where it's all about intentional motherhood, genuine community, refreshing rest, and embracing the chaos. I'm starting this one next. It's going to be what I read at night. So I do something in the morning that's usually my Devo and my prayer journal. And then at night, I have been putting my phone in my bathroom to keep it away from me.
Plus it helps with getting up in the morning.
Yes. And then it makes me literally get out of bed. And I have this is going to be going by my bed tonight. And I just got it yesterday. And it's going to be the personal development that I'm going to be reading at night. Just because it's going to fill, I've heard a lot of reviews that it's going to fill your cup.
Okay, I just have to read this because it's so good. So this says, below is a simple comparison between survival mode, which is like I hate the word surviving, and I feel like I'm sort of surviving right now. Or survival mode and the abundant life that Jesus offers. So no time for God in your schedule is the first one. Versus, this is the abundant thinking. Desiring time with God, for whoever drinks from water that I will give him will never get thirsty again.
It's totally true.
I mean,
I will tell you,
judgment and decision making versus wisdom.
I will tell you, I got up and spent my time, and I feel like my cup is filled, and I'm going to be
way better.
Embrace my motherhood a lot better and be more patient because I'm on top of my schedule today. I'm back in my routine, and I don't feel like I'm surviving. I was surviving yesterday.
The only last thing I would add is I think one of the number one questions I get all the time is, do you do this on the weekends? I'm going to tell you it's a sad story because I would love to say, no, I just sleep in. No, I absolutely do it on weekends. And I would say Sunday is probably even earlier for me. It's hard. It's the hardest day of the week. But it is also the day that we so desperately need Jesus. So I know, and it's so important for my husband to get to church on time. Mm-hmm. And so I have to push. I make everything about him on that day because I know what his triggers are and what is important to him. And so that means I want to be so intentional with my Saturdays and Sundays with my family, which means I get up even earlier to get all those things done. And it might mean I take a nap with a kid that lays on the couch with me and watches a movie. But at least I know I can nap because I already got all that stuff done that I needed to do. So the last thing that we were just going to answer, someone asked, was how many babies? So I have 4. She has 2.
So together we have 6.
We have 6.
I was just telling her today, I was like, that's why I bought a minivan, so that I can haul all of your children.
We have 7, 5, 2 5s, 4, 2, 5 months.
Yeah. I was even holding her baby today, and I was telling her youngest, second to youngest, Hudson, I was like, this is why your mommy had a baby, so Auntie Andy can have a baby.
Yes, I did it for everybody.
Everybody.
So welcome.
But yeah, seriously, if you want to know like a sample of a schedule, shoot us a message, and this topic makes me just so happy and giddy.
Like really go. Yes, don't forget to catch our last 2 episodes on YouTube.
Yes.
They are actually currently under my YouTube. We're gonna die everywhere. Yes. And the baby's crying.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where you'll go to see our current. That's where we're going to load all of our YouTubes at, and so that's where.
And please share us because we want to grow and we want to eventually have a podcast. But we obviously need to continue to keep
the baby show for her. We want to continue growing, and we both have a huge passion for this. And for me, it's very much what the Lord has put on my heart, and so we will be sharing a topic each week. So I hope you enjoyed our routine topic. And yeah, if you have any questions, like I keep saying, I love to talk about routine. So shoot us a message, and we hope you have a great Tuesday. And here's Brooksy to say bye.
Say bye, baby.
Say bye, Brooksy. Say bye.
It's like, whoa, it's a lot of me. Thanks for watching. Have a great Tuesday. Bye. Don't forget to say. Well done.
Sorry, there's so many things. Bye, world.
Good. And then
sorry, YouTube.
Stream.